Welcome to the Paint, Rest, Repeat podcast with Ros Gervais and
Laura Day, where we chat about our creative lives as artists while keeping it real and a little bit messy.
We're here to inspire creatives just like you to push past those boundaries and make art that you love. Let's dive in.
Welcome back, everyone. So we have the fabulous Sami with us today. How are you, Sami?
Hi, Ros. I'm well, thanks. Thank you for having me on. I'm so excited to be here with you and Laura today, discussing me, I guess.
We are discussing you. We're going to ask you your deepest and darkest secrets. Are you prepared?
I'm going to say yes.
Hopefully. Excellent. We've known each other a while now, haven't we, Sami?
We have, yes.
Yeah, you guys know each other in person. I've never met you in person. I only know you from the online space. So it's nice to have this conversation and get to know you on a deeper level and share you with our lovely podcast audience too. But Sami, how would you describe yourself as an artist? Maybe we can let you introduce yourself.
Okay, well, my name is Sami Sparrow. I'm an artist, illustrator, author, hands-on, all-rounder kind of person. So I do a lot of pattern design. I have a lot of licenses with different fabric companies here in Australia, and I have some of my designs on clothing and things like that. I also dabble in painting, so I regularly try and do a lot of exhibitions that way. And I have 2 adult colouring in books and a bullet journal book as well out there in the world. And I'm currently working on colouring in packs and things like that for kids. So I'm getting back in touch with my inner child to get that moving again. Yeah.
You're amazing, Sami. You know what, as you were chatting, I was just thinking, you're like a creative, you know, and I don't think you're the only one, you know, the type of artist and creative person who is just doing all the things because their passion is just so far reaching. So I think you're an amazing example of that.
Thank you. Yeah, I have my hands in lots of pies. I don't know if it's a creative or an ADHD creative where I'm just like, oh, shiny things, I want to do that.
I think there's a place for it. I like it. Variety is the spice of life, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, Ros, out of all of the things, what do you think our audience would like to learn from Sami? I feel like, you know, diving into the licensing, like I know that people are interested in that and getting your work on products, and then the coloring books as well. Like I think that's sort of an exciting project to discuss. And I know that we had a chat before, and Sami, you were talking about that as that's being your focus, like, you know, getting in touch with your inner child, releasing these coloring books and, you know, focusing on the mindfulness aspect. And you're also a mother as well. So like connection between a child and the, you know, parents in this creative space and, you know, working on like a creative activity together. But yeah, shall we start maybe digging into the licensing and products and then move on to the coloring books? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that sounds good. I think licensing, coloring as well. And I think I think the overall theme here really is listening to that inner child piece and letting joy lead. And I think, you know, celebrating who you are as an artist. So if you are the type of person that wants to do all the things, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can just be the way that you artist, you know what I mean? Like just the way you exist as an artist. So yeah, licensing, Sami. How did you get started? Like if you can turn back the time a little bit, how did all of that start? And then, yeah, what did you experience in that space?
Yeah, so licensing is an interesting area. So winding back time, I was always one of those creative kids that always wanted to have my art on things. And I was never one of those kids that went to like a school that put them on those plates, you know, those melamite plates that you used to get your art on, or the tea towels and stuff. I never got to do that. So I was always really disappointed. But, you know, fast forward to let's say, I think it was around 2015, around there. I was creating quite heavily in a very kaleidoscopic way of creating, let's say. I was doing a lot of patterns that had repeats in them, but they were mostly shape work. And I was approached by an art agency, and they said, oh, we can see a really good industry opportunity for you if you can make those into repeat patterns. And I was like, oh yeah, easy, I can do that. So I jumped in, and I was supported by this agency, and it gave me the opportunity to really delve into and focus on making these patterns into something that could go over time into products. So this agency, when I had a collection, you always do collections. So a collection is normally, you'd have 2 really big key designs, you have like 4 to 8 mini designs, and then you have a couple of basics that go with them, is normally how a collection would go in a licensing world. You have some key colors that you would normally put with it as well. So I just created a heap of really cool kaleidoscope patterns that went in this style, and they were off to New York to a show called Surtech, which was amazing. I had a couple of sample products made. I got backpacks, bibs for babies. You know, I was trying to be very open to all industries. And come back, unfortunately, I didn't get any licensing. Had a few companies that were slightly interested, but never got anything out of it in the end. I then kind of focused back on doing some more of my illustrative work and putting that into some patterns. And over time, I built up just a huge collection of designs, which was really good. When I was finding that they weren't getting any traction in the industry that I was going into, or the shows, I would take those patterns and I would put them on things like Spoonflower, so a print on demand site where you can still have money potential coming in. So you've got things like Society6, Spoonflower for fabrics, wallpapers, Zazzle, Redbubble, all of these things. You can set up like a little shop of your own, put your designs on it, people go in, and you got like your patterns, you got products on them. So but licensing can be difficult. You do have to spend a lot of time on your admin. So you're doing things like creating your collection designs, showcasing what they are. Then you've got to do mock-ups. So that's a lot of Photoshop. So showing people what they could potentially look like on their products. And for if you're approaching a company yourself, so I'm self-represented now. I'm no longer with an agency. I spend a lot of time researching companies to see what companies my work fits with. It's like your art galleries when you approach them. You've got to scale it back, make sure that your work actually fits with the style of work that they have already that could just be a little bit different. So, yeah, and then you've got to create your proposal, target it to their products, put it together, write your beautiful email of introducing yourself and your product, like your designs, and then keep your fingers crossed, follow up a couple of weeks later, and hopefully you get some bites. So currently at the moment, I'm back into my illustrative work, and I'm focusing mostly on the children's industry. So I'm looking at products that will be perfect for kids from very, very young through to probably the mid-teens is where I think my products are kind of sitting. So yeah.
Your style really suits that space. I think, you know, I know you have a range of, your work can sort of be pushed in a few different sort of directions, but I've seen your more recent work, and I think, yeah, it definitely suits that space so beautifully. And I think, on that as well, there's a lot to be said for working like phases of your art practice as well. And so working with that phase, so the fact that, you've got your gorgeous little girl at the moment, it just makes a lot of sense that this is the period of time that you'll focus on that particular niche. I think that's really sweet.
Yeah, that's it. I think this season of my life has definitely shifted my focus into that children's area, and I'm happy to lean into it, bring out that inner child within me so that I can support my daughter. And yeah, I'm just having so much fun with it. I'm feeling really at peace and at one with my creative process, which, Roz, I know you know from speaking in the past that I have had my trials and tribulations, ups and downs with my creative process, but this I'm feeling really zoned in and at peace with, which is great.
It's genuinely hard when you're a creative and you have all these ideas. It's like, who am I as an artist when I want to do these textile sorts of works, and I want to work on paper with watercolors, and I also want to create works on canvas and get into galleries, and I want to do all the things. Like, it's so relatable to me, but it does sort of force you eventually into that little conundrum, that little question. Who am I as an artist, and what am I doing right now? So I'm really glad that you're feeling at peace at the moment with your current, direction. I think that's exciting to hear, Sam.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a question from a behind the scenes perspective. I'm really curious to know, like, your tools, techniques, like what is the process? How do you put the repeat patterns together? Do you use like a tablet and Procreate, or on the computer? Are you like scanning in different like illustrations? Like what is the process for you, Sami?
Yeah, so the process is lots of fun. So as Ros was saying, you want to do watercolor, or you want to do illustration, whereas I like to bring in all those elements. So it gives me that little bit of an opportunity to create physically as well as digitally. So I have a lot of work where I will actually do beautiful watercolor paintings. I've got them actually back here if you're watching on YouTube, in a pile where I get them scanned at high res. I've got a little scanner myself, but I do find the quality is better if I go into somewhere like Officeworks. I get the digital files back and I transfer them onto my iPad. So yeah, I do it with a tablet. I do Procreate mostly. Pull everything back, so I've just got the pure elements, and I start playing with placement and everything. So mostly on Procreate, but you can do it via Illustrator, and as a Infinity Design, I think, is another place where you can play with things as well. I haven't played with that one myself yet. It's on my list of things to do when I have some extra time. But yeah, so I really love being able to indulge all areas of those creative processes and bringing them together. So I do create partially from digital as well. So sometimes if I don't have the chance to sit down and do some painting and I really want to get a certain design or drawing out of my mind that's been bugging me, I'll go pure digital and make it from scratch there as well.
It's a good option as well, the digital space, when you've got little people. I mean, it's got a lot of benefits, but I can imagine that, stuck on the couch. What do they call it? Been baby trapped or something? Nap trapped.
Trapped.
Yeah, I definitely found it great for that. It was something where I didn't have to move. I kind of set myself up at the beginning of like a feeding session, or I knew when she was going to fall asleep and I'd be like, cool, I've got my iPad close by, or I would sit there with a journal or something like that, and I didn't have to move. I could just sit there and do what I needed to do, and it was great for that. So yeah, digital is I always felt like an imposter when I was doing it at the beginning, but I've definitely learned to embrace it, and it's definitely a genuine way of creating. Yeah.
All
Love
right,
it.
so shall we dive into these amazing coloring books? Roz was doing a show and tell when we
Oh,
jumped on the Zoom.
all right. I will do. I'm going to do it again, but we will. What's the word? Narrate? No. Yes, narrate. Whilst for the people who are listening in podcast land. All right. So I have recently ordered Sammy's most recent coloring kit, and it is, I think, eight. Is it 8 pages, Sammy?
Yeah, 8 pages.
8 pages. I haven't shown my girls yet because I want a video when they're doing doing the coloring. But the first page here, I've printed it out, super cute. It's like a little toadstool house with flowers behind and little toadstools in the front. Then we've got a I nearly said turtle. You can tell I'm sick. I'm saying weird things. A frog with it's surrounded by wildflowers as well and little toadstools, super cute. What's this one? Hot air balloon.
We've
What
got
else?
a alligator and a bear in a
Oh,
hot air balloon.
wood spotting. Little mouse. Oh, so cute. Kids can lose their mind. Am I allowed to print out 2 copies of these, Sammy? Oh, okay. All right.
They're gorgeous, whimsical, like
Yeah.
illustrations, and yeah, it's you're taking people into like this world of magic from
Yeah.
like I feel like the gorgeous wildflowers, and I can imagine that that would be making your inner child quite happy being in that space.
Yeah,
That's the
Very
sort of
fun.
fun fantasy land.
I'm going to do them with my kids.
please do. I would love to have everybody getting involved. It's not just for the kids. It's a good mindful stress relief, anxiety relief for adults. That hand-eye coordination for kids and adults is huge. And I actually recently learned, this is going to sound really odd, gray hair for anyone who's getting to that stage and or wants to avoid it is from stress. And you can actually reverse getting gray hair by staying calm and doing meditation and relaxation and being mindful. So, coloring in is a great way to keep your hair naturally colored.
So just adding to that, Sammy, I spend money every 6 weeks to get rid of my grays. So is what you're saying that coloring in is going to save me
You
money?
should just do some coloring in, definitely.
To save me money and get my husband off my back about the cost of my hair. All right, I've got it. I'm sold.
I thought it was hilarious when I thought about that and like linking it back to my coloring pages. But yeah, no, I think that the coloring it's not just for the kids, it is for the adults as well. And I think that we all need that time when we've had a busy day. It could be a really good way to wind down before going to bed. Just 5 minutes, pick up a couple of pencils or a texter and just do some coloring. Like,
I'm really excited because I think, even as an artist, coloring in is, I don't know, there's less decisions, I guess, to be made. So it's more mindful than my own art practice. So I'm quite excited about it. Thanks, Sammy.
that's okay.
Yeah, it does relieve the pressure, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And so you're calling them art packs, art kits, or
Art
they're
packs, basically.
okay,
Yeah,
yep.
coloring packs. So I'm going to be releasing definitely just before school holidays so that they're there for parents with kids that are at school. But I'm going to be releasing some more activity style packs as well. And I'm focusing on doing some themed ones. So while you were saying, Laura, about it being really whimsical and taking a bit of a journey, I'm actually going to be starting to do a pack which is going to have a little character and a sidekick, and they're going to be traveling around different whimsical realms. And these whimsical realms each pack will be one realm. So I'm going to have a map within one of them, and they're all going to come with a little bit of a bio story about the realm and the adventures that these individual and their sidekick are going to have in that realm. So it'll be kind of like a collect the whole set almost, so that the kids can color in the map as they venture through the different areas. So that's something I'm working on at the moment, which I'm really excited about.
That's really
Super
cute.
cute. Ah,
And you can
we're
also,
both on
you
the
could
same
even
page.
connect it into, like kiddos who need help with like their emotions, with anxiety and all of that. as a motivator to help them to do more of the mindfulness sort of coloring in to keep them traveling around that particular map.
Yeah.
Love it. Super sweet, Sami.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so they're on your website?
Yes, so
Sami
they will
Sparrow.
be,
Yeah.
there's the first pack that Ros was just showing and we were talking about is up on my website and available now, and it won't be too much longer before the next pack is also released.
Yeah.
Already halfway through getting it all together. So everything's hand-drawn, and I'm going from there with it. So it's a nice, easy download, and then you print it on the paper that you would like. And it is scalable for an A3 or an A4.
Do you print it onto watercolor paper and then paint it?
You could very easily. Yes.
Just had a thought. That might be fun too. Oh, now I'm too excited. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to do like the coloring version and the watercolor version.
You're going to be so zen at the end of this. I can't wait.
Let's graze. I'm excited. I just want to know if they're going to come out pink because I'd like that. I'd like pink hair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we could arrange that. You're going to have to use lots of pink colors, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's fine. I'll do that. That'll be natural. All right. So we've covered, a little bit of what have we done to Sami's backstory, Laura? My cold and flu brain's not tracking very well today. Sami's backstory.
Well, we didn't really dive into the your first foray into art and how that was for you. So I guess maybe we could backtrack just to give us a little insight into how it all started for you.
Yeah, so I was a creative child. I grew up in a small country village, not even a town, because it's that small. So my mum was always trying to find ways to keep myself and my siblings entertained. So that was being creative. So that's how I first got into it. I did creative endeavors all the way through school, got to the end of year 12 in New South Wales, and I didn't know what I was going to do. So my mum drove me into TAFE and made me sign up for a course. She said, I don't care what you do, you got to do something. So I signed up for art. So I have a degree in fine and visual arts from TAFE. And I did ceramics, I did sculpture, I did life drawing, I did still life drawing, I did lots and lots and lots. I tried to do as much as I could. Stupidly knocked them back when they said, do you want to spend 6 months and you can be a school art teacher? And I, just after coming out of high school, was like, no, I don't want to go back into that environment. And I regret it greatly now. But so I did a lot then. And then I didn't do any art for a number of years. And I went through some really tough times and I needed to go and speak to some people. So I went and did some therapy and I ended up getting back into my art as almost like an art therapy style of thing. And it kind of helped me find myself a bit more again, and releasing that creativity helped me find my mental stability again, I guess is a good way of putting it. And I was just creating from then ever since. So I've done a lot of things around positive affirmations are a huge thing for me. They're in my published coloring in books, and it's something that I always come back to with a lot of my work. I tend to revolve around a lot of those type of things. But yeah, so I started with that, bits of art with affirmations, moved into lots of abstract work, then moved into the kaleidoscopic work like I was talking about earlier with my licensing. And I've moved now from there into more abstract florals, a lot of native. I love my natives. It's something that I'm very drawn to. My bird work, native birds, less common those type of things. And then coming back to some of my earlier kind of childhood things, which is the frogs and the whimsy, and bringing the love for the florals into it, and just kind of letting go and being happy with not being perfect. I do struggle with perfectionism, so I'm trying really hard to keep things very loose, not being influenced by external forces, which is very difficult in such a connected digital world these days. But yeah, I'm trying to just be true to myself and my own style. And I know that I've got friends who are people that have known me from childhood that will quite easily look at my work and the colouring in pages especially and go, that is Sami. Like, they are the kind of thing that I would have done back in the day. So yeah, I've been art licensing and things like that for about 10 years. Yeah, I feel like I've almost kind of started to do a full circle with the creativity, but packing in and bringing extra bits as I go, which is great. I think the learning is really important. So I guess now the next step would be in my evolution, bringing ceramics back in. Don't tempt me. I would love to.
I'll do a ceramics class with you, Sami.
It would be good. I have been looking into a couple.
How fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and also I'd love to have Sami as my art teacher. Like, imagine having Sami as an art teacher. I know you'd mentioned it, dropped it in there.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
I absolutely love doing art classes. I have some coming up in the local art gallery at some point, but I've done a few as well. I like doing school holiday classes and things like that, but I adore doing kids art classes because they're so free, and I tell them all, leave the perfectionism at the door. We're here for fun. And I adore teaching kids. It's so much fun.
And the kids adore you too. My two girls have both met Sami and they're like, oh, Sami's the best. They love you to bits. So, you're amazing with kiddos, and you've got such a good way of working with them. So your classes, they're at the regional gallery, is that right?
Yeah, the regional gallery in Goulburn.
Goulburn, yeah.
So yeah, in my local hometown area.
Okay, and if we've got listeners who are in your area roughly, or happy to travel to do some of these classes, what's the best way for them to find out about when your next classes are?
So that would be to jump onto my website and join my email list. I will be getting back on the bandwagon and doing much more regular emails going out, especially with colouring impact information, class information, anything that's coming up that I'll be doing, it'll be in there. On my socials, I'll probably be trying to drop it as well, but mostly via my emails will be the place.
Awesome. And we'll include all of those key links as well in the show notes for this episode, wherever you're listening. So go, make sure you head there, follow Sami on socials, join her email list, go and check out her colouring pages as well on her website, and go and have a proper snoop. Sami is absolutely amazing, by the way. And if you are listening podcast land, make sure you go over to YouTube so you can see Sami's amazing space.
Yeah, it's very inspiring.
It's very over the top. I'm a maximalist, yes.
Yeah,
I just want to jump through the screen now and then just like have a play, because it looks like you've got lots of fun things there in the studio.
Yeah, there's a lot out at the moment. My colouring stuff here, and I've got workbooks at the back, and I always like to have a lot of visuals around me to absorb. I'm a very visual person.
And so before we wrap up, do you want to just drop your Instagram handle? Is Instagram the usual place that you hang out?
Yeah, Instagram's my place. I'm not good at being over multiple social medias. So Instagram is Sami Sparrow 020, but it's Sami Sami.
Okay, cool. And then we'll put the links in the show notes, but I'm sure you'll be able to find her at a colourful, whimsical land over on your Instagram. Very inspiring. So good chat today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, guys. I'm really excited to have been here. Long-time listener. Always feel like I'm involved in the conversation, so it's great to be actually here today.
Are you going to listen to this episode?
I don't know.
Maybe because if you listen to all the episodes, is that going to be weird?
I might make my husband listen to it just
Yeah,
so that
no,
I've
that's
got that
compulsory.
ticked off. So
I don't like listening back to myself at all.
well, you
Thank
guys are great. So just know that.
Thank you so much for joining us, Sami. And yeah, we'll catch you soon.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.